Have you ever felt like you're just hitting a wall with your AI? You give it a complex problem and it just falls flat. Well, the good news is the problem usually isn't the AI itself, but how we're talking to it. So today, we're going to move beyond those basic commands and unlock two really powerful techniques that will help you guide your AI's thinking. We've all been there, right? You ask for a market analysis or maybe a detailed research summary, and the answer you get back is shallow or sometimes just plain wrong. It's a super common frustration, especially when you realize that those standard one-shot prompts just aren't going to cut it for the big stuff. But here's the secret, and it's a game changer. The limitation isn't always the AI. It's the conversation we're having with it. By using more advanced techniques, we can actually guide its thought process step by step and help it solve much more complex problems. Okay, first up, let's talk about a technique called ReAct. The easiest way to think about this is like detective work for your AI. It's methodical, it's step by step, and it's all about breaking a problem down into a logical sequence. So ReAct stands for reasoning plus acting, and it's a framework that basically teaches the AI to pause, think about what it needs to do next, take an action, like a web search, to find that information, and then observe the result before planning its next move. It's this continuous loop of thinking and doing. At its core, the ReAct loop is actually beautifully simple. First, the AI forms a thought, a plan for its very next step. Then it takes an action, which is usually firing up a tool like a web search. And finally, it makes an observation based on what it found, which then fuels its next thought. It just keeps repeating this cycle until the job is done. All right, let's see this in action. Here's a question that needs two different pieces of information and then a comparison. This is a perfect job for our ReAct detective. So the crucial point here is that the AI doesn't try to answer everything at once. Its first logical thought is super simple. I need to find the population of Tokyo. And the action follows directly from that thought, a quick web search for exactly that information. Okay, the search comes back with a key piece of data. Now, this observation isn't the final answer, not at all. Think of it as a stepping stone. It's the first clue the AI needed to figure out what to do next. So, based on that first observation, the AI forms its next thought. Okay, I've got Tokyo's data, now I need New York's. See? The process just repeats itself, a focused thought that leads directly to another specific action. And there it is, the result of that second search. Now the AI has both pieces of the puzzle it needs to actually answer the original question. It's gathered all the evidence. And this is where it all comes together. With all the facts gathered, the AI can finally synthesize them into a complete and, most importantly, an accurate answer. It solved a multi-step problem by just taking it one logical piece at a time. Pretty cool, right? But what if your problem doesn't have a single straight line to the answer? What if you need creativity or strategy? Well, for that, we need a totally different approach. So let's talk about Tree of Thoughts. Tree of Thoughts, or TOT for short, is fundamentally different. Instead of taking one step at a time, it explores multiple different ideas or branches all at the same time. You can literally imagine it creating a whole mind map of possibilities inside its head so it can evaluate all of them to find the best one. So this is the tool you're going to reach for when things get a little more open-ended. If you need to develop a strategy, come up with creative solutions, or weigh some really complex alternatives, Tree of Thoughts is where it's at. Here is a perfect problem for TOT. I mean, there's no single right answer here, is there? You need to explore a bunch of different avenues, weigh their pros and cons, and then build a comprehensive plan from there. So the AI starts by exploring its first branch of thought, a social media campaign. It immediately sees the pros, right? High engagement, pretty cost-effective. But it also weighs the cons, like how crowded that space is. It's essentially evaluating this path and giving it a score. At the same time, it's exploring another branch. What about hosting some pop-up events? Now, this path is fantastic for authenticity and building a real community. But the AI also recognizes the big downsides, high cost and limited reach, and it factors that into its evaluation. And here is a third branch it's thinking about, partnering with other eco-friendly brands. This is a great way to expand reach for sure, but it also comes with its own headaches. By exploring and scoring each of these paths, the AI is building this incredible, comprehensive strategic overview. Now, this is the magic of Tree of Thoughts. It doesn't just pick the branch with the highest score.
No, instead, it synthesizes the strongest elements from multiple branches to create a much more robust, hybrid strategy. It's not about finding the one right answer, it's about building the best possible answer.
Okay, so we've got two incredibly powerful techniques. The real key, though, is knowing when to use which one. So let's put them side by side.
Honestly, the best way to think about it is with an analogy. ReAct is your detective. It's linear, methodical, and absolutely perfect for fact-finding missions. Tree of Thoughts, on the other hand, is your brainstormer. It's exploratory, it's branching, and it's ideal for strategy and creative problems where you need to explore all the options on the table.
Getting a handle on these two methods is way more than just learning a new trick. It's a fundamental upgrade to how you can work and collaborate with AI.
What this all means is that you're no longer just giving commands and hoping for the best. You're becoming a true collaborator, someone who can direct and structure an AI's entire problem-solving process, whether that's a step-by-step investigation or a wide-ranging brainstorm.
This really does change the game. It opens up a ton of new possibilities for research, for strategy, for creativity. So the real question I have for you is, now that you know how to have a much deeper, more structured conversation with your AI, what complex problems are you going to tackle first?